Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, boys and girls. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, 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 boys and girls. Just waiting for the other to join in. Starting at exactly 7, as promised, starting at exactly 7. These are the 3 set of papers that I have. I have this 2025 November. I have this preparatory 2025 for Gauteng. I also have this 2024. So the aim is for us to cover settlement geography in all these papers. That's what we are going to do. We are going to cover settlement geography in all these papers. Grade 11 and 10, there's some playlists that I uploaded on my TikTok. If you can check under playlist, there's enough information for you there to prepare for the exam. Remember, your grade 12 is an exam class. That's why I'm doing more lives on grade 12. But grade 11, you can just go under my TikTok. There's a playlist that covers work for term 2. That is part of your geomorphology, and also work for term 1, grade 10 and 11. If you can just go through that playlist, you'll find everything on map work, everything in all the topics. You'll find everything. So today is only settlement geography. That's what we are doing today, settlement geography. We are going to use these 3 papers. We are going to use the 2025. I want to do them in that order. 2025, or I can start with the NSC papers, 2025, 2024. Then I'll do the preparatory. So I'm going to start with the 2025. That's the one that you are going to do first. Then from there, we move on to the other papers. I actually have 5, but it's not practical. We won't be able to finish everything. We just want to be as practical as possible. We want to be practical. So we're going to start with this 2025. Then after 2025, I suggest we do this 2024. Then lastly, we do preparatory for 2025. That is the Gauteng paper. If we can do all these papers, I'm telling you, we'll have exhausted everything that is to do with settlement geography. We'll have exhausted everything that is to do with settlement geography. And I would like to believe that by the end of the life, all of you, I think you will have understood everything that is to do with settlement geography. So that's how we are going to do it today. Please share the live, share the live, share the live. We want to start now. Share the live. Please, if you've got your groups, share as well, so that we can have as many learners as possible. Share the live, share the live, share the live. So we are going to start. This is 2025. That's what we are going to start with, 2025. There are chances that they might also take some questions. They might also take some questions from these papers, especially, that's why I'm moving more to 2025, the preparatory, little bit of 2024. So we are trying to spot the exam here. Okay, so let's do it. So what I've done, guys, is I was highlighting. I was not showing the answers. I was just highlighting so that I will be able to emphasize the areas that are very important. So that's why I was highlighting. You can see when you look at this paper, you can see there's some section that has been highlighted so that when we are reading the question, we can be able to interpret it correctly. That's why I was highlighting. You'll see I was not showing the answers, but I just wanted you to have an understanding of what exactly we will be covering. That's why I was trying by all means to highlight so that at least you can have an idea. Okay, so that you can have an idea of what exactly that we are supposed to do. So let's start right away, guys. Otherwise, we won't be able to finish. We are going to do it, I think, from now 7 up until 7, 8, 9, until 10. If it's possible, let's see if we can be able to cover these 3 papers. If you can be with me for the next 2.5 or 3 hours, then, guys, I'm telling you, you will be fine. You can get into any exam and get your 80% and above. I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing you this. If you're going to pay attention, if you're going to participate, if you're going to pay attention, I'm telling you. Okay, let's start. Rural and urban settlement. We are only doing settlement geography. Okay, complete the statements in column A with the options in column B. Write only the letters Y or Z next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.7 in the answer book. The reason why I read it is because I want you to instill that skill of making sure that whenever you are going through this paper, you read. Some of you just want to rush. Even before you understand the question, you are just rushing to write the answer. So the most important thing when you are writing an exam is for you to be able to interpret the question correctly. That's why I usually read, because I know I can just go straight to the question, but I read so that I emphasize that whenever you're writing an exam, make sure you read the question to understand it. Okay, let's just go through it now. Settlements are classified as rural based on. Remember, when we are talking about settlements in general, just to give a background, what we call a settlement, guys, in general, what do we call a settlement? Just in general, let's start with that. What is a settlement? The simplest definition, a settlement is a place where people stay or work, where people live. In general, I'm just trying to talk about the simplest form of settlements. You've got your farm, you've got your village, you've got your town, you've got your city. I know we can move on to talk about conurbations, we can move on to talk about megapolis and metropolis, we can talk about all those things. But the simplest definition of a settlement is a place where people stay or live and work. That's what a settlement is. And the most common type of settlement that we have is your farm, is your village, is your town, and your city. Of course, we can talk about the conurbations and this other thing, of course, but here I'm just saying that this is the simplest thing. We move from simplicity. That's what we are doing. We move from simplicity. Okay, so let's start now. Complete the statements in column A with the option. Okay, so settlements are classified as rural based on. Obviously, when we are classifying our settlements, remember, what do we use when we are classifying our settlements? We classify them in terms of functions. In terms of function, what is the most common or dominant economic activity? You know, just to take you back a bit, you know, when you talk about rural having a unifunctional, there's more of primary activities. There is farming, there's mining, there's agriculture, and there's farmers farming. So there's more extractive that is taking place. But when you look at urban, on the other hand, you find that it's multifunctional, which means there is more than one activities. We are talking about primary, secondary, tertiary, and also some part of quaternary. Quaternary is just specialized service provision. So let's get to the question now. So already I've given you the clue in as far as the first question is concerned. So settlements are classified as rural based on what will be the correct answer from what we have there. What will be the correct answer? What will be the correct answer? The number of functions. The number of functions, which means our answer here is what? Is Y. The number of functions. Remember, rural settlements are unifunctional, which means the most dominant activity within the rural is what? Is agriculture, is more extractive, primary activities. Let me say primary activities. Primary activities is where there's extraction of raw materials from the earth's surface. So the different primary activities, I'm talking about your mining, I'm talking about your farming, I'm talking about your fishing, I'm talking about your forestry. So it's unifunctional. That's basically what you're talking about. So number of functions. The second one, 1.1.2, the actual physical location where a rural settlement is located. So take note what I've highlighted, the actual physical position where a settlement is located. What are we talking about? We are talking about a site. We are talking about a site. Don't worry, we are going to cover land reform. We are talking about a site, which means our answer here is what? Is Y. We are talking about a site. Okay, situation is site in relation to its surroundings. That is your situation. But here we are talking about a site, which means your answer there is Y. That is your answer there is Y as well. Then 1.1.3, it reads, the loose grouping of farmsteads is called, or farmsteads. What should guide you now is grouping of farmsteads. What comes to your mind? A farm hamlet, which means we are talking about a hamlet, not a town. Okay, we are talking about a hamlet there. Okay, what else do we have? The pattern. What should guide? Okay, is mostly rural functions and some urban functions. Which one has got mostly rural functions and some urban functions? Remember, when we are looking at our settlements, be it rural and urban, of course, we have said that rural, we have got more of farm and village than farm, urban, more of your towns and cities. So from what we have now is mostly rural functions and some urban functions. If you look at the two, you'll see the farmstead is predominantly rural. So which means the answer there is what? 1.1.4 is Z, which is a village. That will be your answer there, a village. Okay. Then the pattern, 1.1.5, the pattern, take note, the pattern, that is the leading term that you should talk about, okay? The pattern, okay? The pattern of the settlement below is, can you look at the arrangement of the buildings? When you're talking about the pattern, we are looking about the arrangement of the buildings. That's basically what we are talking about. The pattern, we are talking about the arrangement of building in relation to one another. The arrangement of buildings in relation to one another. Are they dispersed? Are they nucleated? Okay, so if they are far away from each other, we say they are dispersed. But if they are very close to each other, we say they are nucleated. That's basically what we are talking about. So the pattern of settlement below, this is the settlement that we are talking about. Can you see how dispersed they are? So which means your 1.1.5, your answer is dispersed. Your answer is dispersed. That is Z. The arrangement of buildings in relation to another. That is dispersed there. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. 1.1.6. It reads, the sketch below depicts a dash settlement. What do we have? That's the first thing you should ask yourself. Go to your key. What is the key saying? The river. Then you've got the settlement. Then you've got the contour, the contour line. Contour line obviously is showing the relief. It's just showing the relief. So what we have in as far as 1.1.6 is concerned. So what should come to your mind is when you look at these, it seems as if this water is in a dry area. It's a scarce resource. So hence, that what will make it a wet point. That's what will make it a wet point. Because if you look at your key and the location of the settlement in relation to the river, you can see that it is a wet point. And the wet point is in a dry area, obviously, where water is scarce. That's your wet point. Okay, so that is your wet point. So your answer there is Y. Okay, then what we have, 1.1.7, it reads the shape of the settlement. When we talk about the shape now, we are talking about the layout of the settlement. When we talk about the shape, we are talking about the layout of the settlement. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, so what do we have? The shape of the settlement below is, that is your 1.1.7. What is the shape there? You can see it's forming more like a line that makes it linear. So it means your answer there is what? Linear. That is Y. Are you fine with this so that we can move on? Guys, we have got 3 papers that we have to finish. Okay, are you fine? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up so that we can move on to 1.2. Are you fine? Sharp. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one. So what do we have? Next one, various options. I'm going to read. Various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions based on concepts and classification of urban settlements. So the concept that is being assessed now that we are moving on is the concept and classification of urban settlements. Choose the answer and write only letter A to D. That's what we have. Is it visible enough? Okay, so we have got 1.2.1 there. What do we have? Can you see what we have here? Source, can you see? I'll bring it a little bit closer. That is your South African what? Urban settlement. Okay, let's see what is the requirements of this question. Okay, trade and transport town is shown in the photograph. Of course, when we talk about the different towns, of course, what is it exactly that we should include there? Okay, let me just say one or two things before we start. I want to say one or two things before we start so that I can make it a little bit clearer, okay, so that it's easier for you to understand. So we are talking about things such as you can have a break of bulk town, which develop where one type of transport is replaced by another. We can have what we call injunction town. I'm assuming some of these things you already know. We develop where there is joining of transport routes. We can have a gap town that develops in the gap of a mountain. So that's basically what should come to your mind. So what do we have? Trade and transport is shown on the photograph below. Can you check where it is? Can you check where it is? 1.2.1. 1.2.1. I want you to check where it is. It shows like it at the harbor. Can you see where there is break of bulk? I would suggest if you can check there, 1.2.1, where there is break of bulk. Okay, gap obviously between mountains, your junction. We are talking where there is joining of transport routes. We don't have joining of transport routes, so it's out. So it's break of bulk. Okay, what happens in as far as break of bulk is concerned? We are saying now one type of transport is replaced by another. This is from the sea to the land, which could be railway that is there, it could be road. So it's your break of bulk. So your answer there is C. Your answer is what? C. So that's what you should look at. You also try to eliminate some of the things. Then let's move on to 1.2.2. 1.2.2, this is the Pietermaritzburg Bay, is in the photograph below, is classified as a dash urban settlement, and it is predominantly function is. So if you look at this now, what do we have? Let me check my let me take it down a bit. Okay, all right. So when you look at this now, what are you seeing? You can see that this is some more to do. 1.2.2 it's kind of specialized, if you can see, and more to do with tourism. You can see, can you check what is happening there? Can you check what is happening? So your options there, if you can check nicely, it's more specialized, but more to do with what? Tourism, if you check there. So it means your answer here is a specialized and settlement. Its dominant economic activity is tourism. If you can see that. Dominant economic activity is shown here. They are at the beach. Can you see? It's more to do with tourism. So which means 2 and 3. What do you have as 2 and 3? That is your C. Your answer there is C. Can you see that? Your answer is what? That is your C. It's more specialized. That is your C. Okay, that is your C. All right. Let's move on to the next one. There is your question. It reads, a dash, that is 1.2.3, and provides mostly low order goods, services to the surrounding rural population. Okay, so these are the central places. We are looking at the towns that provide goods and services surrounding rural areas. So from what we have here, what should guide you now is the low order, okay, goods. If you compare with what we have here, a city, a metropolis, and a conurbation, low order is what should guide you. The low order goods to the surrounding rural population. So that makes it the smallest from the options that we have here, which means your answer is D. That is your answer, D. So the terms that have guided you is your low order and the surrounding rural population. Okay, that's what has guided you to come to that SD. Okay, let's move on to 1.2.4. 1.2.4, it reads, is the maximum distance that people travel to buy goods and services. So when we are talking about the maximum distance that people are prepared to travel to buy goods and services, we call that range. Like, for example, you are prepared to travel a smaller distance just to go and buy bread. But if you want to go and buy a car, you can travel for a longer distance because it's a what? is a high order goods. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, so that's what we are talking about. So the answer there is B, which is your range. That is your answer there is B, which is your range. That is your B there, which is your range. That is the distance. Whenever there is a mentioning of the distance, note that is your range. It's not the sphere of influence. It's your range. Okay. Then the next one is 1.2.5. 1.2.5, it reads, refers to the uncontrolled growth of an urban area. Uncontrolled growth of an urban area. We call that 1.2.5, we call that urban sprawl. Urban sprawl. That is an uncontrolled growth of an urban area. That is your urban sprawl. That is your uncontrolled growth. Then let's look at 1.2.6. 1.2.6, what does it have? The cartoon below depicts the negative impact. Can you see what is happening? Go to your key. If you want to understand, if you want to get the right answer, go to your key. Okay, what is your key showing? The buildings and trees, which means when we are expanding and our urban area is growing or is developing or is expanding, what do? We cut down trees. I mean, that's what should come to your mind. Obviously, tree and the buildings. When an urban area is expanding, obviously we need more space. The physical expansion of the urban area, obviously we are bound to cut down trees so that we can expand. Okay, the key is here. Oh, you don't see the key. Sorry. There is the key. Let me move it correctly. So what is the answer there? The cartoon depicts the negative impact of, what is the urban impact of what? That is 1.2.6. What is the answer? That is your urban expansion. Is the negative impact of urban expansion. When we are talking about urban expansion, we are talking about the physical growth of your urban area. That's basically what we are talking about in terms of size. Like, let's say we are expanding, we are building more locations, we are building. That's basically what we are talking about. The physical expansion in terms of its size. That's basically what we are talking about. That's basically what you're talking about. So your answer there will be D. That is your urban expansion, which is the physical expansion of your urban area. Obviously, it's developing, it's expanding. We are getting more land to put in more suburbs. That's how it's developing. So when we are doing that, we cut down trees. So that is urban expansion, which is your D. 1.2.7 is a process whereby the increasing percentage of the population lives in urban rather than rural areas. 1.2.7. What is that one? That is your concept of urbanization. The increasing percentage of people living in what? Urban areas. That is your urbanization. So your answer there is what? Is A. That is your answer. Okay. Can we move on to the next one? Let's move on, guys. We have a lot of work to do. This one now, guys, I want you to pay attention. It's very tricky. I want you to pay attention. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Refer to the table below, shown below based on the level and rate of urbanization in South Africa. So what do we have? Can you see clearly? Can you see clearly? So it's saying the level of urbanization in 2022 and the rate of urbanization in 2024 is. So when you look at this, okay, let me try to differentiate the two. When we talk about the level of urbanization, what does it mean? When we talk about the rate of urbanization, what does it mean? I want to try and differentiate the two. So when you talk about the level of urbanization, we are talking about the increasing percentage of people living in urban areas compared to rural areas. That is the level. The percentage of people living in urban areas compared to rural areas. That's what we call what? The level of urbanization. The percentage of people living in urban areas compared to rural areas, that is the level of urbanization. But when you talk about the rate now, we are looking at the speed, refers to the speed of urbanization occurring over time. The speed or the rate or the speed of urbanization occurring over time, is it fast or is it slow? That's basically what we are talking about. Let's go to our question now. So we have got information that we are given here. We have got the level the rate. These are the changes. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? So for us to be able to find what do we do if we want to find the level of urbanization? What we are going to do now is we are going to take this for 2021, that is 67.85. Then we add the rate here, 0.49. That's how we're going to get the level. That's how we're going to get the level, which means we are going to say 67.85 plus 0.49. That's what we are going to do. Can you see? We are going to say 68.85 plus 0.49. What will be our answer? All right. Our answer will be 68.34. 67.34, sorry. 68.34. Can you see? Check on your answer. You've got 68.34, which means this is correct. This is the answer here. We are looking for the answer. Okay. What else do we have? We are also going to check 1.2.8. We are also going to check now. We have got this for 2024. Then we have got this for 2023. We want to find the rate now. So we take this number, 69.30 minus this. Then we get the rate. That's how we're going to do it. 69.30 minus 68.82. Let's find out. 69.30 minus 68.82. What do we have? We are going to get something. It can be closer or exact. Okay, 69.30 minus 68.82. What are we going to get here? Let's see. We have got 0.48. 0.48. Which one is closer? If we check there, you can see it's your 0.47, which means these two are your answer 1 and 4, which means your answer there is what? Is B. That is your answer. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Or I'm creating more heat than light? Is it clear? Is it clear? Do you all understand? Do you all understand? So that's how you do it. That is your answer there. Are we together? Thumbs up if we are together. Let's move on, guys. We have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of things to do. Okay, sharp. Let's move on. 1.3. What do we have? I'm going to read 1.3. What we have? I'll read. I was just highlighting so that we won't miss some of these things. Okay, it reads, refer. I'm reading now. Let's read together if you can be able to. Refer to the graph below showing the percentage of rural population in South Africa from 2017 to 2024 and the extract of land restitution. Someone was talking about land reform. We are coming now. Land restitution. We are coming now. We are going to talk about it. Okay. So what do you have that is important here is the percentage of rural population in South Africa from 2017 to 2024 and the extract on land restitution. So that's what we have there. Can you see clearly? Let's try to talk about, okay, let's try to define what land restitution is. We want to try and define what land restitution is because we cannot answer without explaining the concept. Okay. All right. Man is too fast. Don't be fast. All right. Let me try to slow down. All right. So what we are saying now, what is land restitution? Land restitution simply refers to claiming back the land that was unfairly taken from the citizens. That is what we refer to as land restitution. Claiming back the land that was taken away, unfairly taken away from the citizens. That's what land restitution is all about. We are claiming back the land that was unfairly taken away from the citizens. That's basically what we are talking about. I cannot start from output choice, guys. I told you that I'm starting at 7. I cannot go back, guys. Okay, we have got a lot of papers to do. So land restitution, claiming back land which was unfairly taken away from the citizens. That is our land restitution. That's what it is. So let's read this so that at least we can have an idea. So we have got the percentage of rural population in South Africa. This is our graph. What is it showing? From 2017, you can see it was 34.66. But the trend now, you can see now there is a decrease from what we have here in 2017 going towards 2024. You can see here is 34.66. Now it has been on a downward trend. It has been on a downward trend until we get here to 2024. That's what is happening. So obviously, when they are going to ask you to comment on the trend, the changes that has taken place, you can see that in 2017 it was high, but it started to decrease up until 2024. That is from 34.66 to 31.18. That's basically what we are talking about here. All right. Yeah, land restitution, that's correct. Returning the land to its original owners, that's correct. That's correct. Subsistence law, that's correct. So it's the same as what I've said, that claiming back land which was unfairly taken away from the citizens. We are doing the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, so let me read now. The Moletele community opted, can you see? The Moletele community opted to take their land back. And this has resulted in successful land restitution program. The newest agricultural technology and rows of well-maintained citrus trees in Moletele farm in Hoedspruit are clear indicators of this success. The lime-producing farm in Hoedspruit is a joint venture project of Moletele Community Property Association, holding a 51% stake, and the established commercial food producer Comat Fruit Group. A total of 30 permanent and 60 temporary jobs have already been created. The program transfers skills to the workforce and community. Proceeds are given to the thousands of families in the Molete community. A bursary scheme makes it possible for profits to be used in the education of children in the community. The restitution program includes profit sharing. This makes it possible to invest back into the business. So we have already defined what land restitution is. We have said that we are claiming back land which was unfairly taken away from the citizens. We are claiming back the land to its rightful owners. That's basically what we are doing. So if you have been listening to what I was reading, they are trying to bring out the benefits that is coming out of land restitution. That's what they're trying to do. You can see here where they start by acknowledging that it has been successful, a successful program. So what evidence is there from the extract that suggests that it was successful? We are now looking at how it has created employment opportunities, which means it's benefiting the community. That's how it's benefiting the community. Okay, so you know that some of these communities are actually, they have got high poverty levels. So if we have got an initiative like what we have had through land restitution, we are saying now there is employment of permanent and temporary jobs. This is what is coming from the extract. Guys, read to understand, have an analytical mind. This is how you can score more marks. So permanent and 16 temporary jobs has been created, which means in that way, obviously, is helping the community to generate an income. The moment they've got an income, it improves their standards of living. It improves their way of life. The program transfers skills to the workforce and community. That's another benefit, the transfer of skills. That's what is happening in as far as this program is concerned. This is something to take home, something that you can pick from this. What else do you have? Proceeds are given to thousands of families in the Molete family, which means it's a community initiative. Whatever comes out of the project is there to benefit the community as well. Are you following? Are you following? I'm trying to break it up. What else is there? There is a bursary scheme, which means they are also trying to make sure they also provide the need. The vulnerable children, maybe some of them are orphans, they can't afford fees. They are also extending hand towards giving the bursary scheme. Makes it possible for profits to be used in the education of children in the community. So if you look at this extract, in as much as it's showing the trend that is taking place, it is also trying to acknowledge the benefits that are coming out of land restitution, which is bringing back the land to its rightful owners. That's your land restitution. So these extract is trying to give you, is trying to show you the benefits of land restitution. So let's start now. 1.3.1. Can you see the question? According to the graph, state the rural population percentage of South Africa in 2024. Can you see the rural population, guys? These are marks just to take. Can you see there is your 31.18? That is your percentage. Is there 31.18? Please don't just write 31.18 percentage. 31.18%. Make sure you write it in full. Otherwise, you risk losing marks. 31.18%, because the question is saying the percentage. Make sure you write it correctly. Yeah, that's correct. Commander 03, that's correct. That's how you should write it. Let's move on to the next one. Give the general trend. A trend is that's the change. What have you observed? What are the changes that are taking place? What are the changes that are taking place? So the general trend in the rural population percentages is depicted from 2017 to 2024. So when you look at this now, what do you have? This is your 2017, this is your 2024. You can see that it has been decreasing. It's downward. It has been declining, which means if you check here is 34.66, here is 31.18. So it's showing a downward trend. That is what is being shown here. That is correct. It's decreasing. It's a downward trend. Okay, let's move on to 1.3.3. It reads explain. I want you to take note. Explain, one word, the social impact. You have to take note. The social impact, okay, that the general trend will have in the rural community. We are saying now, if we have got a decreasing percentage in terms of people staying in rural areas, what will be the social impact to the rural community? If we have got the number, that's a concept of your rural depopulation. We are saying that if we have got an increasing of number of people living the rural area, what will be the social impact? What will be the social impact? So we are looking at how it's affecting society, social impact. How is it affecting the society in general? That's basically what we are looking at, social impact. How is it affecting the society in general? What will be the changes? There's bound to be increase in poverty. There's bound to be increase in poverty. Remember, the most energetic are living the rural areas, which means the economy of the rural area is going to be affected, resulting in more increased poverty. So the social impact is the increase in poverty. That's what I'm talking about. Increase in poverty. What else can we talk about? Obviously, there's bound to be lack of services as well. Social lack of services. You can talk about service in different forms. It can be in terms of health. It can be in terms of education, in terms of service delivery. Unemployment, of course, it falls in both. That can also be increasing unemployment. The family ties are also broken. Family disintegration. The family ties are also broken. There is what we call family disintegration. So that's something that can also happen as well. What else can we talk about? The loss of community identity. Most of the people are leaving. Sure, that's something you can talk about as well. What else can you talk about? I think the population imbalance. There can be an aging population. Adults will be left behind. That's correct. That's an aging population that can be left behind. So take note. Your question is here, social impact, guys. We are not focusing on economic, social impact. The social impact, take note. This should be the guiding word in your response. The social impact. Aging population, that's correct. You guys are cooking. You guys are cooking. You are cooking, guys. Let's move on. So the next question now, refer to the extract of land restitution. What we have read just now. So now we want the definition. What is land restitution? What is land restitution? Okay, what is land restitution? What is land restitution? What is land restitution, guys? Some of you, you gave me the correct definition just a moment ago. What is land restitution? 1.3.4. You are returning land to its rightful owners. That's what you are doing. Returning, claiming back that was taken unfairly, but you are returning land to its rightful owners. That's what you are doing. That's your restitution, claiming back the land that was unfairly taken from the citizens. So you are giving it back to its rightful owners. That's your land restitution. That is your land restitution. Okay. According to the extract, which option model of land restitution applied to the Molete community? Which option applied? 1.3.5. They opted to take back their land. That's what you can respond there. They opted to take their land back. They opted to take their land back, which is your land restitution. Okay, that is what they opted to do, and making use of their land after they have taken it back as the rightful owners. Okay, they opted to take their land back. That's what they have done there. Then suggest strategies that can be implemented after the land restitution has taken place to reduce rural depopulation. The question now is on what can we do to reduce rural depopulation? That's what this question is all about. What can be done to reduce the number of people living in the rural areas? What can we do to make sure that we retain people in rural areas? What can we do? That's what this is all about. Suggest strategies that can be implemented after land restitution has taken place to reduce the rural depopulation as indicated in the graph. We want to make sure that we retain more people in the rural areas. Of course, Nunu, that's correct. Job creation, that's correct. Introduce agricultural colleges. Of course, they get skills, they start farming. What else can we do? What else can we do? Create job opportunities, give them skills, of course. Okay, what else can we do? More job opportunities. You guys are cooking. You guys are cooking. I'm very proud of you guys. You are cooking. Everything that you are saying is very important. So we are saying we want to make sure, don't just say basic services. Let's improve the basic services. Improve them. If you just say basic services, what about them? Make sure that your point is explained fully so that you get the 2 marks. If you just say basic service, improve basic services. Because some people are living in the rural areas because they are in search of better service in the urban areas. But if you improve the better services, then obviously it's going to retain them in the rural areas. We can also talk about rural industrialization, decentralization of industries. Remember, most of the industries are in the urban areas. But if you try to improve the infrastructure, making the rural areas to be accessible, which means more industries can relocate to the rural areas, which means it's bring about development, then we are retaining people within the rural areas. Better basic services, that's correct. You guys are cooking. You guys are cooking. I'm proud of you guys. I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much. Let's move on to 1.4. 1.4, that's where we are moving on now. 1.4, thumbs up so that we can move to 1.4. I want a thumbs up. I want a thumbs up. I want a thumbs up. A thumbs up, guys, so that I can move on to 1.4. Danko. Let's go now. Refer to the urban profile. Refer to the urban profile. Okay. Depicting urban land use zones and the photographs showing urban land use below. So we need to understand what is an urban profile. That's the first thing we need to understand, because we cannot answer a question on things that we don't know. We cannot respond to a question that has got concept that we do not know. So we want to start by answering what is an urban profile. Because the question is saying refer to the urban profile depicting land use zones and the photograph showing urban land use below. So we want to know what is an urban profile. That's what we need to know. What is an urban profile? Can you write for me what is an urban profile? It's the view of the city from the CBD to the periphery. That's correct. That's what we are seeing here. I want you to check here, guys. Can you see? This is the CBD, the Central Business District, to the periphery. So it's the side view that shows, okay, the view of the shape of the city. You see, from the CBD to the periphery. Okay, that's what the urban profile is all about. So the CBD is the Central Business District. So we are saying now The tallest buildings, you find them within the central business district. That's where you find the tallest building. Why is it like that? Because within the CBD, the land values is very high because there's competition for land. There is competition for land here within the central business district. That's why they extend vertically. That's why we have got the skyscrapers. Land is very expensive because the competition for land there is too much. That's why you see they extend vertically. That's why we have got skyscrapers. But as you move away from the central business district, you can see also there is change in terms of the height of the buildings. What could be the reason? Obviously, on the outskirts, the land is cheaper than the land that we have within the central business district. That's basically what we are talking about. So your urban profile is showing you the side view of the shape of the city with the tall buildings within the CBD and the height decreasing as we move away from the CBD. So that is your urban profile. Of course, the CBD is the heart of the town, is the commercial heart of the town. So what we can also include there is the aspect of land use. What do you understand by the concept land use? What do you understand by the concept land use? Land use. Because we have talked about the land use now, of course. Land use. What do you understand by the concept of land use zones? Land use zones. Remember, we have got areas where we have got residential area. We have got areas where we have got industrial areas. Are you following? We have got the zone of decay that is on the periphery of the CBD. So we are saying those are the designated, regulated, okay, what kind of users can be permitted in those specific parcels of land. We have got the central business district. We have got the zone of decay, which is just after the CBD. We have got the industrial zone. We have got the residential area. So these are the different land use zones that we have. So that's what you are seeing here on the key. We have got the A, that is where your industrial zone is. B, that is where your residential zone is, where people stay. It can be high density, it can be medium density. This is where people stay. We have got the transition zones, the zone of change, the zone of decay, just after the central business district. What else do you have? We have got the central business district. We have got the rural urban fringe. So the rural urban fringe, we are looking now at the periphery, which has got both characteristics of the urban and the rural, the edges of our urban, where it now meeting the rural. That is your rural urban fringe. We are saying now the E. Here it has got characteristics of both the urban and the rural. That is your rural urban fringe. That's basically what we are talking about. So this is the key that is explaining this urban profile. Of course, the height, it decreases as you move away from the CBD. So what else do we have? You can see here, we have got the skies. Okay, here what we have here, A, these are the industries. We can see with the pollution. We can see with the pollution. Yeah, obviously, what will come to your mind is the heavy industry, because there's a lot of pollution that is going up there. You can see in the atmosphere. What else do you have? B2. We have got B2. Look at the kind of houses that we have there on B2. You can also see what we have there. All right. So now that you understand this, let's move on to 1.4.1 now. What is 1.4.1 say? It is saying what is a land use zone? It is a land that has been zoned for a specific function in the urban settlement. So it has been set aside, regulated for a specific function. Like, for example, if we say this is a central business district, the main function of that land is it works as the commercial heart of the city, which is the central business district. If we say it is the industrial zone, which means it's specifically designated for industries. If we say residential, it means it's specifically for residents. That's basically what we are talking about. Built up areas. That's what we are talking about. So we are saying the land use zone, it is the land that has been zoned for a specific function. It has been set aside. It has been regulated for certain users. They are permitted to use that, not any other thing. If it's residential, it's supposed to be residential. If it's industrial, it's supposed to be industrial. That's what we refer to as your land use zone, urban land use zone. That's basically what we are talking about. Central business district is a land use zone. Residential area is a land use zone. Industrial area is a land use zone. So that's basically what we are talking about. They are set aside for specific functions. It's set aside, Rory Sang, that's correct. Set aside for specific functions. That's what we mean when you talk about the land use zones. Can we move on to 1.4.2? Thumbs up. For 1.4.2, can we move on? Can we move on, guys? 1.4.2. Can we move on to the next 1.4.2? Thank you. So it's saying name urban. 1.4.2 is saying name 2 urban land use zones where commercial functions are mainly found. Where do we have commercial functions? Commercial functions are mainly found. 1.4.2. Which zones can we talk about? Central business district. Central business district. That's number 1, where we have got the commercial functions, where they are found. What else can you talk about? The transition zone. That is correct as well. What else can you talk about? In the residential areas, we can also include that. In the residential and the raw urban fringe, we also have the commercial functions that are there. Think about what is happening in as far as the malls are concerned. Some of them, where are you finding them? Some are within the residential areas. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. That's what we are talking about. Someone is talking about the OBD, which is the outlying business district. Of course, that's correct. That's correct. So let's move on to the next one. Refer to the urban profile showing land use zones and photographs that show examples of land use in these zones. Give evidence that the land use in B2 is a high income residential area. We are saying what evidence suggests that this is a high income area, B2. What evidence suggests that this is a high income area? What evidence suggests that this is a high income area? C, it is far away from the CBD. Commander 03, that's correct. It is located on the outskirts, that's correct. Your B2, we are talking about the B2, guys. This one is located far away from the residential area. I think, located far away from it is also located far away from the industries, okay? That's correct. What else can we add? 1.4.3. What else can we add? 1.4.3a. It also has high security walls. You can see high security walls. You can see high security walls. You can see there. What else can we talk about? Some of the residents, they own cars. They can drive their own cars. Some of the residents there, you can include a lot there. Okay. Let's say B. Let's move on to B. Is the land use a heavy or light industry? A, is it a light or a heavy industry? A, is it a light or a heavy industry? A, is it a light or a heavy industry? A, is it a light or a heavy industry? Guys, guys, come on, guys, come on. Check here. You call this light industry? Come on, guys. Can you call this light? This is heavy industry, guys. Heavy industry. Stop guessing. Stop guessing. Be attentive to detail. That is your heavy industry. That is your heavy industry. That's correct. Let's move on. Then we have got 1.4.4. Explain the economic reasons. I want you to be guided by these economic reasons why this land use is located on the outskirts of the urban area is indicated in the urban profile. The A2, why is it located? Okay. Explain the economic reasons why the land use in 1.4.3 we have said that is the heavy industry. Sorry, heavy industry. Why is it located away from the on the outskirts of the urban areas? Why is it located away? There is cheap land. That's correct. AK. That's correct. 1.4.4. There is cheap land. Availability of cheap land. Okay. What else? What else? Closer to the labor force. You can talk about that. It's close to the labor force. What else can you talk about? It is cheaper to build on flat land. You can talk about all those things. You can talk about all those things, guys. That is your 4 marks. I think we are done with that one. 1.4.5. Why is the land use B2 not located closest to land use BA? Why is B2 not located to land use BA? Okay, B2 and BA. Why are they not located close to each other? They have industry and this B2. Why are they not located close to each other? Why are they not located close to each other? B2 and your A. Heavy industry and your B2. Why is it not located close to each other? That is 1.4.5. Why is it not located? Aesthetic is aesthetic, not athletic. Aesthetic. Aesthetic value, of course. Okay, what else? Aesthetic value, of course. What else can you talk about? To maintain the value, high value of land or of the property in B2. What else? Because of avoiding noise, of course. There's also pollution there. What else can you talk about? To reduce the impact of pollution, you can talk about that. Reduce the impact of pollution. What else? To reduce the health risk. Those are some of the things that you can talk about actually. To reduce the health risk. What else can you talk about? We don't want to decrease the aesthetic appeal. Aesthetic appeal, okay. So are you fine with this? We want to move on now to our 1.5. Let's move on to 1.5. Traffic congestion as well, that's correct as well. Let's move on to 1.5. 1.5, is this visible? Refer to the extract and photograph below on urban blight, urban decay. Okay, we are doing 1.5 now. Is it visible enough? Let me read. I want you to pay attention now. Urban blight or decay. So we cannot start. We want to define what urban blight is. What is urban blight? What is urban decay? We want to know what it is because we don't want to assume what is urban blight or urban decay. What is urban blight? What is urban blight, guys? I want to hear from you. What is urban blight? What is urban blight, guys? I'm waiting to hear from you. What is urban blight? I think you can see the way that is written there. It gives you an idea. Urban decay as well, okay? Let me read. Over the past decades, business owners have felt helpless as they watched on as the building and services in the area have gradually deteriorated. Okay. They have tried to get the municipality of Cape Town to take action, but their cries seem to have gone unheard as the issue of urban blight or decay remains unresolved. Leah Peterson, coordinator of Sustainable Livelihood Foundations, whose offices are along the road shown on the photograph, said the Ebo Road has been in the state of decay for more than a decade. The living conditions in the buildings are terrible. There are illegal water and electricity connections and people sleeping in squalor, that is filth conditions. A small committed group of business owners, including ourselves, have invested time, effort, and money in our attempts to implement urban renewal. Okay, so urban blight or urban decay, obviously, it is most common in the zone of decay. It is most common way in the zone of decay. Just on the edges of our CBD, we have got houses that are dilapidated because obviously the owners of those houses, they are waiting for the right moment when the CBD expands so that they can send their houses there at higher value. That's basically what we are talking about. That's what we are talking about. That's why they delay, renovate. That's why they do not take care of those buildings that are on the edges of our CBD. Okay, let's check now. What do we have? 1.5.1. What evidence in the photograph suggests that urban blight or decay has taken place? What can you see that is showing that urban decay has taken place from the photograph? What can you see? 1.5.1. Can you see the graffiti there? Can you see what is there? The buildings are not maintained. It's the graffiti. What else can you see? Buildings are neglected. Old buildings, that's correct. So those are some of the things that you can actually see. Okay, buildings are overused, that's correct as well. Let's look at 1.5.2. State 2 social causes of urban blight, urban decay. What could be the 2 causes of urban blight or decay? Lack of affordable houses. Lack of affordable houses. What else? Illegal occupation. What else? Lack of interest from the landlords to upgrade. We have talked about lack of interest from the landlords to upgrade. Unemployment also aids poverty. Lack of affordable housing. So you talk about all those things. All of them are correct. All of them are correct. Okay. Let's look at 1.5.3. Suggest possible reasons why the municipality of Cape Town has not attended this issue of urban blight or decay in Wynberg. Why have they not attended? Obviously, with the municipality, what could be the problem? Maybe they do not have a budget for it. There is lack of finance. That's something that is, that is clear, guys. They do not have finances. Maybe they don't have a budget for it. So we can say lack of finances, lack of resources. That's what we can talk about. The finances can be there. Then there's mismanagement, which is more of your corruption. We can talk about that. Lack of investment. What else can we talk about? The municipality maybe is not prioritizing it. The municipality is not prioritizing urban renewal. That could be another reason. What else? The buildings are privately owned, which means they do not have control on what is happening on those buildings. If they are privately owned, they do not have control on what is happening on those buildings. So they cannot do anything. That's what we are talking about, guys. You are cooking. You are cooking. That's correct. That's correct. 1.5.4, I think this one we have done it correctly. In a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, explain the positive impact of urban renewal on the economy of Wynberg. So guys, when you are doing a paragraph question, I want to say something, guys. You need a point and a qualifier. Most of you lose marks under paragraph question. What it simply means when we say effect and a qualifier, we are simply saying explain your point in full. Give as much information as possible. That's what we mean when we say the factor and the qualifier. Try to explain your point in full. Give as much information as possible. That's basically what we are saying. So here we are saying explain the positive impact of urban renewal on the economy of Wynberg. What could be the positive impact? Okay. What could be the positive impact of the urban renewal on the economy of Wynberg? I think some of you know Maboneng. I think that's an example of urban renewal. You see what is happening in as far as urban tourism is concerning. Most people are going to Maboneng. They take pictures. It has attracted a lot of people. You understand? Just because of what is happening there. So basically that is in Johannesburg. I'm just giving you as an example so that you have a better understanding. So what are the positive impact? It will attract more business. Obviously, if we renovate the buildings, it's going to attract more business. That is a positive impact in the urban renewal to the economy of Wynberg. What else can be? It can attract more tourists. That's what can happen. What else? Attract more customers, which means the business are going to thrive. Okay, what else can we talk about? Increase the value of properties. It attract investment. That's correct. Increase also the value of properties because they are no longer left dilapidated. They are renovated. That's basically what we are talking about. It also reduces crime. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. What else can we talk about? It also improves infrastructure. So those are some of the things that you can actually talk about. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I think we are done with the 2025. Let's move on now to the 2024 settlement geography. We are done with the 2025. Let's move on now to the 2024. We are done with the 2025. Let's move on now to the 2024. We want to start with the 2024 now. This is our 2024. Let's get on it. Let's get on it. Okay. This is our 2024 now. We are doing the second paper. 2024 now, November NSC, only settlement geography. We are doing this. If we can be able to finish early, maybe we can try to do map work, but I cannot guarantee that. Let's do this 2024 now. We are starting with 2024. This is our 2024 paper. I'll read. You can read with me. I think is it visible? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the paper clearly. If you can see the questions clearly, give me a thumbs up. Sharp. Match the statements in column A with the options in column B. Write only letter Y or Z next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.8. So this is what we have, guys. I highlighted because I wanted to emphasize some certain things. That's why I highlighted on this paper. So the first one, what do we have? The exact piece of land where the land is built on. That is your what? That is your site. That is where it is located. That is your site where it is located. So your answer there is Z. That is your answer there, Z. Okay, next one. The situation of a commercial livestock farm is influenced by. Situation. What should guide you here, guys, is the commercial livestock, which means there is a profit motive. There is a profit motive. Commercial. That's what should guide you. That's the word that should guide you. There is a profit motive, which means they are more concerned with the market. They are more concerned with the what? With the market. The profit motive. This part which says situation of a commercial livestock. Commercial livestock. That's why we have said is the market. Obviously, if you are operating as a commercial farmer, obviously you seek to make as much profit as possible. You are doing it for money. You are not doing it on a subsistence base. So the point there would be the markets. They want to be as close as possible to the market. So the answer there is what? Is Z, is not Y. Y is topography. So 1.1.2 is the market. 1.1.2, please, is not topography, is the market, which is Z. It's Z, the market. Okay, let's move on. Settlements located close to the water source in an arid area. So what should guide you is, which means water source, where is in an arid area. An arid area is a dry area. That makes it a wet point, which means it's Y. That makes it a wet point. Like your desert, you can have an oasis there. That's basically what we are talking about. So the answer there is wet point. 1.1.4, the shape of this settlement is influenced by a river. The shape of this settlement is influenced by a river. Think of a river. Obviously, it's likely to be more linear. River line. So it's going to be a linear. So your answer there is what? Is Z. Your river line linear. It's going to be along the river. That gives you a linear shape. It's going to give you a linear shape. Then what else do we have? We have got here, that is the largest rural settlement type. So when you are comparing these two, both of them are rural settlement. Which one is large between a rural hamlet and a village? Which one is large? That is 1.1.5. A village is large. Your village is large. When you compare your rural hamlet and the village, a village is large. That's what we are talking about. Then 1.1.6, greater profits are associated with this settlement pattern. Greater profits are associated with this settlement pattern. 1.1.6. 1.1.6. Obviously, it's your dispersed, because if it's nucleated, which means at some point you'll have to share the profits. But if it's dispersed, which means you are on your own, you don't have to share. So the answer there is dispersed. Because if it's nucleated, it's more of communally owned, you share profits. So the greater profits are associated with the dispersed. Okay. Then 1.1.7, the land returned to the original owners. The land returned to the original owners. Remember, we once talked about this when we were doing 2025 paper. It is returned to the original owners. What would be the answer there? That is your what? 1.1.7 That is your why. That is your land restitution. Land restitution. Okay. Then we have got what is land tenure? All right, we cannot just ignore this. What is land tenure? What is your own understanding of the word land tenure? What is it? What is land tenure? Before we move, I want you to tell me what this is. Land tenure. What is land tenure? This Z, what is it? Can we talk about it before we leave? Let's not ignore it. What is land tenure? What is land tenure? So land tenure, we are saying that it is a law that ensures that people who could not own land previously can do so after 1994. That's basically what we are talking about. It is a law that ensures that people who could not own land previously can do so after 1994. So that's basically what we are talking about. It's talking about the right to land ownership, that if those people who could not own land can now own, that has something to do with land tenure. That's what it's all about. Okay. That's what this is all about. Can we proceed? Let's move on. 1.1.8, an economic challenge of land reform. Economic challenge of land reform. What will be the answer there? An economic challenge of land reform. I will take both. I will take both. Economic challenge of land reform. I will take, because all of them have got economic implications. I will take both poverty and legal disputes. Remember, what is happening in as far as the land reform is concerned is we have got the willing buyer and the willing seller. Okay? We have got people that are occupying the land now, and we have got people that wants to buy the land. Willing buyer, willing seller. Are you following? I want to go to the issue of land disputes. So, in most cases, it is a challenge for us to arrive at the right price, because what the willing seller wants cannot be the same as what the willing buyer wants to pay. So, I want to bring out the issue of land disputes. You understand? Even the land restitution, some of these things are in cause. So, all of them, they've got economic implications. So, I will take both of them as economic challenges. So, I'll take both. I will take both. I will take both as economic challenge for land reform. Are we together for 1.1.8? Are we together? Are we together? Sharp. Let's move on to 1.2. 1.2, various options are provided as possible answers to the following question. Choose the answer and write the letter A to D next to the question numbers. So from what we have here, the smallest urban settlement in the urban hierarchy. What is the smallest settlement from what we have here? What is the smallest settlement? 1.2.1. Your answer there is town. That is the smallest settlement. That is your town. So you've got your town, your city, metropolis, then megapolis. That is the order. So the smallest there is the town, which is your C. All right. Then 1.2.2 is the smallest number of settlements. Which one has got a smallest number of settlements? Obviously, from 1.2.2, these two are out. These two are out. So we are saying which one is the smallest number of settlement between a conurbation and a megapolis. Which one has got the smallest number of settlement? Both of them, they talk about the merging of town. So which one is the correct answer? 1.2.2. That is your D. That's correct. Okay, both of them are formed when town merges, join together. So that is your megapolis there. Thank you. Let's move on to 1.2.3. 1.2.3 is the largest settlement found in South Africa. 1.2.3, what do we have there? 1.2.3, what is the answer? What is the answer? That is your conurbation, where we have got the merging of cities. That is the largest, guys. Be guided by the largest settlement type found in South Africa. That is your conurbation. Okay. That is your B. Okay, 1.2.3. 1.2.4 is an urban settlement type made up of major cities and towns. Which one is it? 1.2.4. What is your answer? said to be made up of major cities and towns. That will be your metropolis. Maybe said made up of major city and town. 1.2, that will be your metro. Johannesburg Metro, I'm just giving you as an example, of course, metropolis. Okay. Then 1.2.5, 1.2.5, a city covers a larger area than a town. Of a city covers a larger area than a town. Okay, what will be the answer? 1.2.5. What would be the answer? That will be your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence. That will be your answer. Which means if it's a small town, it has got a small sphere of influence. If it's a big town, it has got a bigger sphere of influence. The areas where it supplies, obviously, is goods and services. Of course, your 1.2.5 is what? B, the sphere of influence. Okay, 1.2.6, a university has a dash range and a dash sphere of influence than a school. What can you choose as the correct answer? The 1.2.6. 1.2.6, that's C. That's correct. C. It has got a larger range and a larger sphere of influence than a school. So your answer there is what? Is C. Then 1.2.7, the range associated with the purchase of motor vehicle is greater than the purchase of bread. So here we are comparing a low order and high order, okay? Because what would be the reason? The range associated, the range is the distance. You are prepared to travel longer distance to buy a car. You cannot drive 300 kilometers to buy a loaf of bread. You get what I'm trying to say? You are prepared to travel a small distance to buy or purchase a low order good. That's basically what you're talking about. So the range associated with purchase of motor vehicle is greater than the purchase of bread because it is 1.2.7. What could be the answer? More expensive. What else? And not purchased frequently. That means it's more expensive and it's not purchased frequently, which means your answer is what? A. Your answer there is A. Alicia is not C, it's A. It's not more expensive and it's not purchased frequently. Alicia, the answer is A. C is wrong. It's A. Let's move on to the next. So 1.3 now. 1.3. This is interesting. 1.3, what do we have? Let's analyze. Okay, someone is saying, explain. Guys, when you talk about high order and low order goods, the low order goods, these are the goods that we are using like on a daily basis. Of course, you can just go and buy bread within your local area. Why? Because it is less expensive. That's basically what we are talking about. But if you talk about high order goods such as your cars, you have to travel longer distances. That's basically what we are talking about, because these are not purchased frequently. They are expensive. They are higher order goods. So that's why we have said here it's more expensive. A car is more expensive than bread. That's why you are prepared to go, okay, for a longer distance to purchase it. Why? Because it's more expensive. You are prepared to go and buy because it's more expensive. And also it's not purchased frequently. It's not like the bread that we buy on a daily basis. So I understand. So the range, the distance that you are prepared to travel in order to buy it is what? That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. Mandundu, are you, is it clear now? Is it clear now? All right, someone is saying, I have got a question on 1.2.5. All right, what is a threshold population? What is threshold population? Someone is asking that he has got a query on 1.2.5. We have said that the answer is the sphere of influence. What is a threshold population? What is a threshold population? Let's start with that. What is a threshold population? I also read your comments, guys. I don't ignore it, okay? What is a threshold population? Let's try to define that. What is a threshold population? I'm waiting to get a response from you. Minimum number of customers needed to make the business profitable. All right. So we are saying of a seat covers a larger area. a larger area than a town. So when you look at the sphere of influence, or the threshold population of the threshold of population, we have got the minimum number of customers needed for a business to survive. That is the threshold population. So here's the question is saying of a city covers a larger area than a town. So we are saying when you compare a town, okay, then you compare to a city. So when you look at the sphere of influence now, the reason why I've said is the sphere of influence. I want to try and justify. I know in terms of the threshold, of course, it can also apply, but the one that is more appropriate, if you are to check from how the question is phrased, I would say it is the threshold population, sphere of influence. Why am I saying the sphere of influence? Okay, because we are looking at the ability of an urban center to provide a variety of urban services to the surrounding urban and rural environments. So we are saying we are looking at the ability, okay, of the city or town to provide a variety of urban services to its surrounding urban and rural environments. Of course, I would opt for B than C. Of course, I understand C makes sense, but from the option that is given, B is more appropriate. That's why it is multiple choice, because you'll find if you look at it, some of them more or less, if you try to reason, you can get them to be correct, but I would opt for the sphere of influence. That's what I would opt for 1.2.5. Okay, sharp. If it's fine, can you give me a thumbs up so that we can move on to 1.3? Okay, is it fine? We want to move on to 1.5.3. If it's fine, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if it's fine so that we can move on. Thank you so much. Let's move on to 1.3. So 1.3, what do we have? It says, refer to the sketch and graph below showing the levels of poverty. It's showing what? The levels of poverty caused by rural-urban migration. So the concept that is being assessed there is the rural-urban migration. The movement of people from the rural to the urban areas, of course. So this rural-urban migration, it has got a lot of challenges that is poses, okay, both to the rural and also to the city. There are certain problems that are associated with this movement of people from the rural to the urban areas. Okay, so when we talk about rural-urban migration, what should come to your mind, guys, is the push and pull factors. Okay, this is what should come to your mind, the push and pull factors. When you talk about the push factors, we are saying now what force people to leave the rural areas. That's how it becomes a push factor. Let's say, for example, there is lack of social services or poor services, which means it is as a result of poor services that people are leaving the rural areas. Lack of jobs, that's a push factor. Don't just say jobs. What about them? Because if you just say jobs, can you say it's a push or pull? You have to say lack of jobs. That's what will make it a push factor. So make sure that you make the point to be as clear as possible. Lack of basic services, you see, lack of education. The way you are writing it now, you are making sure that your point is clear. If you just say jobs, how about it? A push factor, lack of jobs, lack of better services. Okay, you have to make sure that you qualify it to be a push factor. If you just say jobs, what about them? Lack of sanitation, poor services. Okay, sharp. When you talk about pull factors now, we are saying those factors that are attracting people to the urban areas, like they can be better services. You understand? Don't just say healthcare. What about healthcare? Poor healthcare. That's what makes it a push. Please, guys, be very careful. Some of you lose marks because of the way that you write it, guys. That's how you lose marks. Okay, so let's check now. So you've got this. I've just tried to explain a bit push and pull factors. What do you have? You have got here the percentage of the level of poverty. You can see here from 30, okay, going upwards. You've got the young adults. Obviously, it's showing you the age group that is leaving the rural areas to the urban areas. Young adults, which means the economically active, the more energetic, which means this group, when they leave, they are going to leave an aging population in the rural area. That's basically what we are talking about. So that's why here they're saying the young adults in terms of age, which means we are likely to be left with an aging population. What else do you have? Level of poverty of young adults that remain in rural areas. Then you've got level of poverty of young adults that migrate to urban areas. So you look at the trend now, the one that is going to the urban areas, they are better off as compared to the one that remain in the rural areas. So that's basically what they are trying to depict here on this graph. So what do you have now? The first thing, define. What are we doing? We are writing the definition. It's like saying what is rural-urban migration. What is rural-urban migration? This is the movement of people from the rural areas to the urban areas. So you have to know it is the concept so that you can be able to get the 2 marks. The movement of people from the rural to the urban area. That is a concept. You have to make sure you get it right to get your 2 marks. Then according to the graph, the percentage level of poverty decreased by a small amount. Where is it decreasing by a small amount? 1.3.2. The level of poverty decreased by a small amount in what is happening. If you check at the trends here, it is more in the rural. So it means your answer there is in the rural. Then 1.3.3, how has unemployment contributed to this trend of poverty levels where it has decreased by a small amount, especially in the rural? How has unemployment contribute to this trend in poverty levels? In question 1.3.2, we have said that it has decreased by a small amount in rural areas. So they are now saying, how has unemployment contributed to this trend in poverty levels? 1.3.3. People, they are earning low salaries. They are not able to afford basic needs. You can talk about all those things. They are earning low salaries. They are not able to afford basic needs. Those are some of the things that you can talk about. They are earning low salaries. They are not able to afford basic needs. Okay, increase in food prices, obviously they won't be able to afford. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, sharp. Then 1.3.4. Can I move on to 1.3.4? Give me a thumbs up. 1.3.4. Yeah, your answers are correct, guys. 1.3.4. Guys, don't forget to tap the screen as well. Don't forget to tap the screen. How does the movement of young adults to the urban area have a negative? The movement of young adults in urban areas have a negative social impact on the rural community. Take note, guys. Social impact. How do they have a negative social impact? 1.3.4. There's going to be an aging population. That's a social impact, which means we are left with the old people there. That's a social impact. There can also be increase in poverty. What else can we talk about? Brain drain, we talked about. The quality of life, it also decreases. So you can talk about all those things. That is the social impact. Okay, that is the social impact. This one is fine. Then 1.3.5. 1.3.5. It causes ghost towns. Okay, 1.3.5. Suggest strategies that can be introduced in rural areas to reduce the movement of young adults to the urban areas. What can we do to retain people in the rural areas? What can we do to make sure that we retain people in the rural areas? What can we do? We educate people. When we educate people, don't just live there just to say educate people. When you educate people, which means you are upskilling them, they can be able to use their skills to generate an income. That way, they are able to be retained within the rural areas. What else can we do? Bridging services in the rural area, that's correct. Provide with job opportunities, that's correct. Job creation, improved services, that's correct. You develop the area, be specific. If we develop infrastructure, which means we create an environment conducive for investments, so it results in rural industrialization. Guys, the way you are writing your points, man, remember, this is 3 by 2. It's not necessarily a paragraph question, but you need to make sure that you explain your points in full. Try by all means to give as much information as possible. Let's say, let me just give an example. I can say we can upgrade infrastructure. if we upgrade or improve infrastructure, which means we are going to create an environment conducive for rural industrialization, which will result in more employment creation, and that will help in retaining people in the rural areas. Have you seen how I've explained my point? It's fully explained. You are guaranteed that you get your 2 marks. Try by all means not to leave your answers hanging. They don't have to be vague, please. Try by all means to give as much information as possible. If I'm going to say improve in service provision, which means if we improve the services, people are going to return in the rural areas. Why? Because there are better services, because some of them are leaving to go to the urban areas because of poor services. The moment we improve them, which means we are able to retain these people within the rural areas. That's basically what we are talking about. So I am saying, in short, questions like this, you have to explain in full. Give as much information as possible. That's basically what I'm talking about. Okay, are we together, guys? Let's move on to 1.4. If we are fine, give me a thumbs up. We want to move to 1.4. We want to move on to 1.4. If you are fine, thumbs up. Thumbs up, 1.4, thumbs up, 1.4. Sharp, sharp, sharp. See guys, what is happening here? What is happening here? We are back again to the urban profile. Remember, in 2025 paper, we did the urban profile. We are back again. Refer to the sketch below showing the urban profile. What did we say? Can you check here? The height of your buildings from the CBD is high here, and the height decreases as you move away towards the periphery. You move away from the CBD. That is your urban profile. Urban profile, the side view of an urban area. That is your urban profile. So why is it like this? We are saying now there is too much land competition within the central business district. Hence, that's what makes the land to be very expensive. That's why you see they build vertically, they expand vertically, because the land is very expensive. There's too much competition for land within the central business district. That's why you see we have got skyscrapers, we have got tall buildings. It is as a result of the cost of land within the central business district. That's why we have got the tall buildings within the CBD. But as we move away from the CBD, the height starts to decrease. That is your urban profile. The side view of an urban area. That is your urban profile. Are we together, guys? If you are, let's move on to 1.4.2. I think I've explained there. You can see, comment on the height of buildings in the CBD in comparison to us in the rural urban fringe. The rural urban fringe, obviously, we are talking about this peripheral area, which has got characteristics of both the urban and the rural. This is where now our urban is extended, and it's also taking part of the rural. You understand? So it has got characteristics of both the urban and rural. That is your urban, rural, urban fringe. We have already defined urban profile, guys. We have already defined urban profile. Let's be attentive. We have said urban profile, the side view of an urban area. The side view of an urban area, the city of an urban area. That is your urban profile, guys. When I was explaining, I said the height of the buildings within CBD is very high, but it decreases as you move away from the CBD. Why? Because the land values here are very high, because there's too much competition for land. This is the commercial heart of the city. Hence, the buildings are expanding vertically. We have got skyscrapers. As we move away, the height changes now, is start to decrease. That's basically what we are talking about. So 1.4.2, we are saying height of the buildings decreases. That's what we can say for 1.4.2. Height of the building decreases. What else can we say? We can also say height of the buildings increase towards the CBD. That's what we have to see. That's what we have to see. So that's basically what we have to talk about. Okay, sharp. Can we move on to 1.4.3? Give me a thumbs up if it's fine. 1.4.3. Give me a thumbs up if it's fine, so that we can move on to 1.4.3. There's someone who's saying no. Come on guys. 1.4.3. How has the demand of land influenced the density of buildings in the CBD? 1.4.3. How has the demand for land influenced the density of buildings within the CBD? What do we have? It has resulted in high building density. It has resulted in high building density. It has resulted in high building density. That's basically what we are saying. It has resulted in higher building density. We are doing 1.4.3. It has resulted in higher building density. That's how it has influenced the density of buildings within the CBD. Exactly. Stembiso Shenge, that's correct. It has resulted in higher density. That's correct. 1.4.4. 1.4.4. Why are both the transition zone? Why are both the transition zone and the rural urban fringe referred to as the zone of change? Why are they referred to as the zone of change? What are they referred to as the zone of change? 1.4.4. Why are they referred to as the zone of change? Urban expansion, of course, that's one thing you can talk about. And urban sprawl occurs. What else can you talk about? Urban renewal occurs there as well. What else? They are characterized by mixed land use. They are characterized by mixed land use. That is your 1.4.4. They are characterized by mixed land use. Okay, characterized by mixed land use. Remember, we have said that in your rural urban fringe, it has got both the rural and the urban. Of course, that's basically what we are talking about. 1.4.3. Guys, I want you to pay attention, guys, because we cannot finish if we go back to 1.4.1 that we have done already. Let's stay focused, guys, because like now we are on 1.44, but someone is saying let's go back to 1.4.1. So we cannot do that, guys. So let's make sure. I'm going to go back to 1.4.1, but I'm saying, please, let's move at the same pace. Okay, I'll go back to 1.4.1, but let's move at the same pace. Okay, we have said define the urban profile. How did we define the urban profile? We have said that 1.4.1, we have said that your urban profile, what is your urban profile? The side view of an urban area. That is your side view of an urban area. Guys, we can't keep on repeating because some of the guys are joining now. Otherwise, it's going to kill the momentum. Okay, side view of an urban area. That is your urban profile. Then to comment on the height of the buildings in the CBD in comparison to those in the rural urban fringe. 1.4.2. The height of the building, it decreases towards the rural urban fringe. You can see, and it increases towards the CBD. That's what is happening. It decreases towards the rural urban fringe, and it increases the height of the buildings. It increases towards the CBD. That's basically what it is in as far as the height of the buildings is concerned. Okay. Then also 1.4.3, how has the demand for the land influenced the density? We are saying now we're going to end up with the higher density of building because the demand for land within the CBD is too much. So we end up with the higher density buildings. Then for 1.4.4, we have said that 1.4.4, we have said that it is characterized by mixed land use. There's urban renewal occurs there. Urban expansion and urban sprawl occurs there as well. That's what you can include there. Then 1.4.5 suggests economic reasons why the rural urban fringe would be an attractive location for commercial activities. 1.4.5, what could be the correct answer for 1.4.5? How would you respond to 1.4.5? Land is cheaper. That's correct. That is correct. What else? There is available land, accessible market, reduced transport costs. What else? Access to raw materials. You can include all those things, guys. We have said that 1.4.5, land is cheaper. There is available land, accessible market, reduced transport costs, access to raw materials. Those are some of the things that you can actually talk about in as far as 1.4.5 is concerned. Okay, let's move on. If we are fine, let's move on to 1.4.5. 1.4.5. 1.4.5. What do we have here? Refer to the photographs and extract below on informal settlement. All right, let's define what an informal settlement is. What is an informal settlement? Before we start, what is your own understanding of informal settlement? What is an informal settlement? What is your own understanding of informal settlement? Guys, don't forget to tap the screen. Don't forget to tap the screen. Please tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, share the live. What is an informal settlement? Let's start. We don't want to answer questions on things that we don't know. What is your own understanding? What is an informal settlement? Let's start with that. Unplanned area, spontaneous settlement that are built on vacant land. They are illegal. Of course, okay. That's what an informal settlement is. Okay. Let's read now. Upgrading of informal settlement. So this should guide you. Upgrading. Of course, they are illegal. But if you can read the heading, upgrading of informal settlements. Okay, let's go now and let's read. Let's look at the picture, all right? This is before. Look at how it looked like before, how it looked like, and look after it has been upgraded. How it like before and after it has been upgraded. Look at the changes that are there. Let's read now. Let me read now. Informal settlements are generally located on any vacant land that is available, which means the moment they find an vacant land, they build their structures. That's what makes them illegal. That's what makes them illegal, okay? Informal settlements are characterized by lack of basic services. They don't have basic services. What are we talking about? Do they have electricity? Do they have running water? How are they in terms of sanitation? That's what we are talking about. We are saying there is a lack of basic services. So that's what should come to your mind. Pollution, overcrowding, poor waste management, that impact negatively on the environment and poses a health threat. In spite of this, a number of informal settlements are growing. Okay, let's move on. What are the solutions to informal settlement? Okay. Rather than disrupting important social and economic networks by uprooting and relocating residents, upgrading programs would be associated with social benefits for the people in informal settlements. Such programs can improve the neighborhood infrastructure while low-income residents remain on site. Okay? Upgrading informal settlement creates income-generating opportunities that can directly benefit local companies and residents. This is particularly helpful for workers if jobs are created within the community. In many cases, young people within these settlements will be directly employed in upgrading projects. So if you look at this, you would find this is an opportunity that has been accorded to our illegal settlements. Instead of us saying, let's demolish them, we are saying, let's instead upgrade them. That's basically what we are talking about. Let's legalize them. Let's formalize them. That is coming as an alternative to say, let's try to make them legal. Let's formalize them. Are you getting? Because obviously housing is a basic human right. So instead of demolishing them, why don't we upgrade so that those people that cannot be accommodated in the former housing now, we can come up with low-cost housing project that can be able to also alleviate them in terms of poverty, making sure that they've got access to housing, which is a basic need. That's basically what we are talking about. All right, let's start 1.5.1. It reads, define the term informal settlement. When we are defining, we are writing what it is. We have done that already. That's what we started with. 1.5.1. What is an informal settlement? We have said that these are spontaneous settlement, unplanned, they are illegal, they are built on vacant land, which means they are not known by the municipality. That's basically what we are talking about. They just mushroom on vacant land. They are spontaneous, which means they are unplanned. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay. That's what we are talking about. Are we fine with the definition of informal settlement? I think we are fine. We have explained that in full. Unplanned settlement of an area, self-built dwelling made of reclaimable. Okay. That's what, okay. Let's 1.5.2. State one factor in the extract that has a negative impact on the health of residents in the informal settlement. What one factor in the extract has a negative impact on the health of residents in the informal settlement? 1.5.2. That has got an impact. 1.5.2. One that has got an impact. Remember, we talked about pollution. It has got a negative impact. Okay? On the what? Health of residents. What else? 1.5.2. What else? Lack of basic services, overcrowding. You can talk about poor waste management. So all those things are correct. You can include them. You can include them. Okay. Guys, we have done 1.5.1 already. 1.5.1, we have done it already, guys. Come on. 1.5.3. 1.5.3. Explain two economic reasons for the increase in informal settlement. What are the economic reasons behind the increase in informal settlements? Economic, pay attention. Economic. What are the economic reasons? What are the economic reasons? It's cheaper to build these informal settlements. What could be? The other reason is cheaper. Remember, they are just getting a vacant land. They're just using cheap material. So the economic is cheaper. It's cheaper to rent. You can talk about cheaper to rent, cheaper to build. This has got an economic implication. Okay. What else could be another one? High levels of unemployment, because they cannot afford rent in the former houses. So it's a high level of unemployment and lower wages. That's what has caused them to build their houses in these vacant land. What else can we talk about? The municipality budgets cannot keep up with the increasing demand. The municipality budget cannot keep up with the increasing demand. Remember, people are migrating from the rural to the urban. Hence, we have got the mushrooming of these informal settlements. Lack of better jobs, obviously, they cannot afford rent. Hence, they end up building these unplanned settlement. Okay. Lack of skills. Okay. You can mention. Those are some of the things that you can talk about. Okay. Then let's 1.5.4. What do we have? In a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, explain how the upgrading, improvement of informal settlements would have a positive impact. How will they have a positive social impact on the people living in this settlement? How are they going to have a positive social impact? 1.5.4. Improved services. Remember, some of these are without service. They lack basic services. It means if we upgrade them, the positive social impact will be improvement in terms of services. Okay? Also, the rents becomes more affordable. Okay? What else can we talk about? What else can we talk about? Obviously, there's going to be creation of job opportunities. Job opportunities creation when they are upgrading them. They are employing the local. You understand? What else can we talk about? What else can we talk about? Upgrading of infrastructure. What does it do? It improves the quality of life. Infrastructure in terms of roads. It also improves the quality of life. Lower crime rate. Guys, you are cooking. Guys, you are cooking. You are cooking. All right. This takes us to the end of our 2024. Let's now move on to the prep. 2025 prep. I like the way we are moving, guys. Let's move on to this one now. The 2025 prep. Let's move on to this one now. Let's start. This is what we are doing now, guys. 2025, our third paper. Guys, don't forget to tap the screen, please. Don't forget to tap the screen. This is what we have now, 1.1. I'm going to read, then we can do this together. Various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question numbers. So this is what we have, 1.1.1. Okay. Refer to the sketch below and answer the questions that follow. what do we have? It reads, the settlement pattern at X is, what is the settlement pattern? 1.1.1, what is the settlement pattern? At X, what is the settlement pattern? What is the settlement pattern? Remember, we look at the arrangement of the buildings. What is the settlement? That is your nucleated. That's correct. Nucleated. It's nucleated. Guys, can you call this dispersed, guys? We can't call this dispersed, guys. That is your nucleated. Nucleated. Okay. When we talk about a linear, is the shape. If the question has talked about the shape, that's when we talk about linear, but the correct answer there is nucleated. Look at how close these buildings are. Your answer there for 1.1.1 is C. It's nucleated. It's nucleated. That's correct. Okay. 1.1.2. The settlement shape illustrated at X is. The settlement shape at X, 1.1.2. You want your linear now. That's where it's applying now. That is where your linear can apply now. That is the shape. So you should be able, guys, to know the difference between your shape and your pattern. Some of you are confusing the shape and the pattern. Here we are talking about the shape. There the question was talking about the pattern. So the answer there is linear. The shape now is linear. Okay. The shape there is linear. All right. Someone is saying I should explain the difference between shape and pattern. Someone is saying I should explain the difference between shape and pattern. When we are talking about the pattern, we are talking about the arrangement of buildings in relation to another. Pattern, the arrangement of buildings in relation to another. That's basically what we are. How is it laid out? Is following the river. That's what makes it what? Linear. That is the shape. The layout of the settlement. The layout of the settlement. That is your shape. Is it fine now? Give me a thumbs up if it's fine so that we can continue. Give me a thumbs up so that we can continue. Sharp. I think we are fine. Let's move on to 1.3 now. The settlement at X in sketch is dash point settlement as is dash from the water source. Can you check? What do we have? It suggests that floodplain area, that is the river. Why are these close? Which means we can't call this a dry point because obviously it's very close, okay, to the water source, which means it's something that is scarcity. So what could be our answer for 1.1.3? 1.1.3 is wet point settlement because it is close to the water source. Wet point settlement because it is very close to the what? Water source. So your answer there will be C. Do we all understand 1.1.3? I think we do. Let's move on to 1.1.4. The factors affecting the site of settlement illustrated on X. What are the factors affecting the site of the settlement X? What are the factors? Okay, from what we have, guys, let's go back. The factors that are affecting. Can you check? Steep valley. Obviously, you think about the relief, the topography, and the water. Are you following? Let's go back now. So what is affecting here? We are saying we are talking about the relief and also the water, which is 3 and 4. Which means your answer for 1.1.4 is C. It is the relief and also the water. That's why it is close to the water source. Is it clear, guys? 1.1.4, is it clear? Is 1.1.4 clear? Thumbs up if it's clear so that we can move on. Just give me a thumbs up if it's clear. Sharp. Let's move on to the next one. Refer to the illustration below and answer the questions that follow. What do we have, guys? We are back to the same thing. The urban profile, guys, urban profile. We have talked much about this. The illustration above shows how a seat looks from the side. The concept illustrated is, what is the answer there? What is the answer? 1.1.5, what is the answer? What is the answer? 1.1.5. That is your D, urban profile. That is your D, urban profile. Let's move on to 1.1.6. The CBD refers to the central business district is a land use zone. A land use zone is defined as. What is the answer for your 1.1.6? What is the answer there? 1.1.6. Come on, guys. 1.1.6. What is the answer? From the options given, what is the answer? Teddy, that's correct. It is an area within the urban settlement with a particular function. Is it an industrial area? Is it a central business district? Is it a residential area? So the correct answer there is an area within an urban settlement with a particular function. That is B. That is B. That is your B here. Then 1.1.7. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. The answer there is B. Here is B. 1.1.7. The area labeled Q surrounds the city and is called a green belt. The green belt is made up of, what is a green belt made up of? Obviously, you find it mostly, it can be 1.1.7, the parks and also in the open fields. In the open fields. That's when you can have your green belt. That is your open parks and open fields 2 and 3, which means 1.1.7 is what? Is your C. That is your C. That is your C. All right, let's move on to 1.2. 1.2, what do we have here? We have choose the correct concept and make to match the statements. Okay, to make the statements true, right only. So what do we have here, guys? Urban hierarchy. That is your urban hierarchy. That's what we have here. We have got what we call urban hierarchy. I want you to check here. We have got urban hierarchy. What is urban hierarchy? What is urban hierarchy? Let's try to define it before we start answering the question, because I don't want to assume that you know. What is urban hierarchy? This is the ranking of urban areas according to the criteria of size, number of functions, and the degree of specialization. The ranking of urban, all right, ranking of urban areas according to size, function, and the degree of specialization. So this is your urban hierarchy from the smallest to the largest. That's basically what we're talking about. That is your urban hierarchy. That's what is being assessed here. Farmstead, hamlet, village. That is here, which means this is more of your rural. This is your urban settlement. That's basically what you're talking about. So they are ranked according to the size, number of functions, and the degree of specialization. That's your urban hierarchy. That is your urban hierarchy from the smallest to the largest. That's basically what we are talking about. Okay, so this is what we have from the smallest to the largest. That's what we have. So 1.2.1, the diagram above illustrates. What does it illustrate, the diagram above? Already we have talked about it. Is your urban what? Hierarchy. That is your answer, the urban hierarchy. 1.2.2, the dash is a large urban area where several towns have joined together. What is the correct answer? An example is West Rand, Johannesburg, East Rand. What is the correct answer there? 1.2.2. That is your conurbation. No, it's not a city. Guys, take note. Large area where several towns have joined together. It's not a city. It's not a city. That is your conurbation. The part where it says large urban areas where several towns have joined together, where they have merged your West Rand, Johannesburg, East Rand, that is your conurbation. 1.2.2. It's not a city. That is your conurbation. That is your conurbation. It's not a city. Okay. Then 1.2.3, the smallest settlement in the diagram. Which one is the smallest settlement? 1.2.3, the farmstead. 1.2.4, yes, a larger sphere of influence. Which one is bigger between the town and the city? The one that is bigger has got the largest sphere of influence. Which one is bigger between the town and the city? 1.2.4. What is the answer? It's your city, because a city is bigger than a town. Then the last one, 1.2.5, here's a more high order services. Which one has got more high order services? Which one has got more between a city and a metropolis? Which one has got more high order services? That is your metropolis is bigger than a city. That is got more high order services. That is your metropolis. Let's move on. 1.2.6. It reads, the minimum number of people required to support a business. What is the answer there? 1.2.6. Minimum number required to support a business. What is the answer? That is Z, your threshold population. Then 1.2.7, the maximum distance a customer is willing to travel to buy something at a central place. What is the answer? 1.2.7. That is your range. Your range. That is your range. The maximum distance a customer is willing to travel to buy something at a central place. That is your range. That is your range. What is range? Let's start with the range. The maximum distance, guys. That's what should guide you. You should know the definition of range, guys. What range is. I'll give you an example. You are prepared to travel a longer distance to buy high order goods. Let's say you want to buy a car. You can even go as far as 500 kilometers to buy a car, because it's not something that you purchase frequently. So you can travel long distance. That is your range. You understand? So it's not the market area. That is your range, which is the maximum distance that people are preferred to travel in order to buy or purchase a high order goods. That's basically what we are talking about. So 1.2.7, it's your range. It's Y. Then 1.2.8, all buildings in a city are not maintained and painted. Decay sets in. This is termed. What is it termed? That is your urban blight. 1.2.8. That is your urban blight. Urban blight. That is your Y. Urban blight. Urban blight. Thumbs up so that I can move on to the next. That is 1.3. Can you give me a thumbs up? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Last one, of course, is Y, urban blight. Okay, let's move on to the U. 1.3. What do we have? Refer the information below and answer the questions that follow. What do we have, guys? We have got the concept of urban population there. Obviously, it has something to do, if you can check nicely, it has something to do with the rural to urban migration. Okay. What do you have? You've got a comparison here. Rural, it has something to do with the rural to urban migration or rural depopulation. You can think of that as well. What do we have here? We had no choice. There are jobs and services in the city. Here, it is said to leave our family, but we need money to educate them, and city will provide it. We are grateful for their grandparents, of course. So what should come to your mind, obviously, guys, is the movement of people from the rural to the urban area. Okay, let's just go now to the question. Define rural depopulation. Can you give me the definition? What is rural depopulation? What is rural depopulation? What is rural depopulation? The decrease in the number of people or population in rural areas. Decrease in the number of people or population in rural areas. There is a decrease in the number of people or population in rural areas. That is your rural depopulation. That is your rural what? Depopulation. The decrease in the number of people in the rural or the decrease in the population in rural areas. That is your rural depopulation. Okay, can I move on? According to the graph, what is the general trend in urban population? What is the general trend in urban population? What is happening to urban population? Is it decreasing or increasing? Is it decreasing or increasing? What is the general trend in urban population? What is the general trend? Come on, Judy. Come on, Judy. Look at your urban population. From where it starts, can you say it's decreasing? It's increasing. That is the general trend. That is the general trend. It is increasing. Okay. Then the next question reads, state the economic reason. The economic reason. State the economic reason evident in the cartoon. Evident in the cartoon for the people living in the rural areas. What is the economic reason? What is the economic reason that is causing them to leave the rural areas from the cartoon? What is the economic reason? That is 1.3.3. What is the economic reason from the cartoon? No jobs, unemployment, need for more money. We had no choice. There are no jobs. Okay, what do you feel? We need money. Okay, so this is what lack of jobs, need for more money. You can include that. Okay. What else do we have? Identify two pull factors. Two pull factors illustrated in the cartoon. What pull factors are illustrated in the cartoon? Pull factors, this is what is attracting people to go and stay within the urban areas. What two pull factors are included there? Better paying jobs. Don't just say education, please. Better education. Better education, better job opportunities. Don't just say jobs, guys. Better job opportunities. More services available. These are the pull factors. Higher standards of living. Of course, that's correct. Let's move on to 1.3.5. Describe the social impact of rural population in the rural areas as stated in the cartoon. The social impact. What will be the social impact? 1.3.5. What is the social impact? Breaking up of families. You can see now they are migrating. Obviously, there is breaking up of families. What else can you talk about? We have got the older people being left behind, which is an aging population. That's what we are talking about. So these are the social impacts. An aging population is left behind. The breaking up of disintegration of families, breaking up of family units. That's what you can also talk about. Elderly people are left behind, which is an aging population, okay? Then 1.3.6, what do we have? Discuss how land reform may help to reduce rural depopulation. How can it help to reduce rural depopulation? The land reform, how does it help to reduce rural depopulation? Land reform? Land reform, it gives back to the people, gives land back to the people, and this will help to create opportunities if they work on the land. So what it does is, if the land is given back to the people, it means it will create job opportunities if they work on the land. That's one thing. That's how it will help. What else? It allows farming to take place, which means now they can generate an income. They can make money out of farming. That's what we are talking about. It allows them to generate income so that they can make money out of business. Or someone is saying attract investors, more like agro-business. We are saying some of the farms that are into agro-processing, that process agricultural products, can also relocate to rural areas, which means now there is raw industrialization, agro-business. Okay, we are talking about value addition taking place in rural areas because people have got land, the products that they are farming, now they can be processed to semi-finished to finished products. Okay, what else? Improved food security. You can talk about improved food security. You can talk about that. Land reform can also allow infrastructure development, which leads to job opportunities. When we are constructing roads, it also results in also job opportunities. So that's how land reform can actually help in reducing the rural depopulation. Is this clear, guys? If it's fine, give me a thumbs up so that we can move to 1.4. Thumbs up, we want to move to 1.4. Thumbs up so that we can move to 1.4. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. 1.4. Refer to the infographic below on informal settlements and answer the questions that follow. Guys, if you have seen the trend now, you have had a lot of informal settlements questions. And it's something that is very topical. We have got a lot of informal settlement in South Africa. So it's something that is very topical. So expect it. Expect it. So let's see now. Refer to the infographic below informal settlement and answer the question that follow. What do we have? We have already defined what an informal settlement is. These are spontaneous and planned settlements that are built on vacant land, which means they are illegal. You understand? They are illegal. Some of them, they are not even known by the municipality because they just built on vacant land. Okay, so what do we have here? You can check what we have. You can have this, the movable toilets that they have here. Of course, you can see also what we have, unregistered buildings. So let me read so that we can answer the time. We're trying to manage our time. One of the worst informal settlement fires in the history of Cape Town took place in the sprawling township of Khayelitsha. As more people migrate to the country's towns and cities, new informal settlements regularly spring up unannounced. The high density of these urban areas combined with the flammability of materials used to build in them makes spontaneous and rapidly spreading fires a constant threat. At least 5 people died and over 4,000 were left homeless in Khayelitsha in the early hours of 1 January when a wall of fire fueled by strong winds tore through an informal settlement known as BM section. Over 1,000 shacks were burned on the ground. All right, so let's start now. 1.4.1. Guys, extracts, we have got questions like this with infographic. What does simply mean, guys, when you talk about infographic? We have got this. We have got this graph. We have got this. That's what an infographic is. So you should get your information from this. That's an infographic. This is very easy. You get your answers from there. According to the infographic, what percentage of South Africans live in the informal settlements? Can you see here? Guys, 14%. The answer is there. You get your mark, free mark. Then, what is the main reason for the development of informal settlement as stated in the infographic? What is the reason behind the development of informal settlement? People are migrating to towns and cities. That's what is happening. People are migrating to towns and cities. That is the reason. People are migrating to towns and cities. 1.4.2. People are migrating to towns and cities. That is the reason. 1.4.2. Are we fine with 1.4.2 so that we can proceed? 1.4.2. People are migrating to towns and cities. Sharp. Let's move on to 1.4.3. The local municipality has assisted the community living in informal settlement by providing them with basic services. Provide evidence from the photo to support this statement. What has the local municipality done? That is shown on this. What have they done? Check here, guys. What can you see here? Electricity is there. Portable toilets is there. Guys, you can't tell me you can lose marks, guys. This is easy. This is easy. Portable toilets, you have got electricity there. Mobile toilets, of course. That's what we have there. Then 1.4.4, it reads, according to the extract, what are the reasons for the frequent spread of fires in informal settlements? What are the reasons for the frequent spread of fires in informal settlements? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Remember when I was reading the inflammability of the materials? Flammability of the materials. Check here. Flammability of the materials. These are the reasons. We are talking about the high density buildings. They are very close to each other. Flammability of the materials. The strong winds. So those are the reasons that we can actually write about. The strong winds. Flammability of the materials. That is your 1.4.4. 1.4.4. Strong winds, flammability, high density buildings. Then 1.4.5. In a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, suggest initiatives that the national government can implement to reduce the number of informal settlements in South Africa. What can the municipality, the national government do to implement? What can they implement to reduce the number of informal settlements? Please read it for me, please. I am a little bit faster. I've seen that. What can they do? They can build what? Low-cost housing. They can build low-cost housing. They can create more employment opportunities. What else can they do? They can build them RDB houses, that low-cost housing. What else can they do? They can improve basic services. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. This is easy. They can provide basic services, provide better infrastructure. What else can they do? Provide access to low-cost home loans. These are some of the things that they can actually do. Create job opportunities. These are some of the things that they can actually do. Then you get your 4 marks, guys. You get your 8 marks. Is it easy, guys? It's very easy. It's very easy. Can we move on to 1.5? 1.5. Can we move on to 1.5, please? 1.5. I want a thumbs up. 1.5. Thumbs up for me. 1.5. Thumbs up. Please, guys, don't forget to tap the screen. Don't forget to tap the screen. Refer to the article. Refer to the article on the water crisis in Gauteng and answer the question that follow. Already, you have an idea that this article is about the water crisis in Gauteng and answer the question that follow. All right, let me read so that we can just answer the question together. You can read with me. It's fine as well. Johannesburg has experienced numerous water issues this year, and an expert predicts that these problems are likely to spill over into 2025, causing a larger crisis. Among the issues are severe infrastructure challenges and critical water shortages that are pushing the city's water system to its limits. Logan Musam, Johannesburg Water's operations manager, acknowledged the severity of these infrastructure challenges while attempting to reassure the public. During a water service delivery protest in Westburn, Van Dyke, the DA's shadow MMC for infrastructure, emphasized the need for technical experts rather than political appointees. The current level 1 water restrictions, effective from 1 September 2024, prohibit the watering of gardens, filling swimming pools, washing cars, and using hosepipes between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Adding to the city's challenges, the Lesotho's Highlands Water Project, which supplies water to approximately 1/5 of the South Africa's population, is undergoing crucial maintenance until 31 March 2025. This means we all have to do everything we can to use water sparingly, warned water expert Karen Bosman. So that's what we have here. 1.5.1, what do we have? According to the article, what is the cause of water issues in Gauteng? What is the cause of water issues in Gauteng? According to the extract, what is the cause of water issues? What is the cause? Infrastructural challenges. You see, infrastructural challenges, maintenance of this, where is it? Where they say maintenance of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. That's something else then. What else? Lack of technical experts. Lack of technical experts. So these are some of the answers, but it's coming from the extract. We only need one answer. Okay. 1.5.2. Why is it important for the municipality to ensure that people have access to basic services like water? Why is it important that for the municipality to ensure that people have access to basic services like water? 1.5.2. Water is a basic need, guys. Water is a basic need. The provision of water is a basic human right. Provision water is a basic human right. That's why it is important. But they also want to reduce the possibility of a service delivery protest. That's what they're also trying to avoid. They want to reduce the possibility of health issues in the community, like your cholera and this other stuff. Okay, if people have got safe, clean drinking water, that's basically what we're talking about. Okay, people can live without water. Then 1.5.3, according to the article, identify 2 of the water restrictions introduced by the municipality. What have they introduced? Can you check here, guys? Prohibit watering of gardens, the filling of swimming pools, washing cars, and using of waste pipes. All these things, of course, the residents have been told not to do them, to make sure that they to restrict. That's how they've tried to restrict water restriction introduced by the municipality. They should avoid that. That's basically what has been said, to actually make sure that they do this water restriction. These are bonus marks, guys. 1.5.4 suggests how the local municipality can assist the local resident during water disruption. What can they do? How can they help? the local municipality. Think about the Jojo tanks, guys. They can actually provide water tankers. Those trucks, they can also go with water. You understand? That's what they can do. 1.5.4. That's what they can do. 1.5.4. In reducing water disruptions, water tanks, okay, that's correct. Then the last one, Yamafelong, 1.5.5, Yabufelo. In a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, suggest strategies that on how communities can assist in saving water. What can community do in assisting to save water? Repair leaking taps. Guys, repair leaking taps. What can you do? What else can they do? They can also store water, collecting rainwater to use in gardens. That's what they can do. They can also drill boreholes. What else can they do? They can also arrange cleanup campaigns of local rivers to ensure water is not polluted. What can they do? They can use Jojo tanks to store water in rain season. So this is what they can do. Boys and girls, this is Mr. Muwengi about to sign out. I think we have done enough, guys. We have done enough. We have revised 3 question papers. Guys, this is out of this world, guys. I didn't know that we'll make it. We have managed 3 set of papers. Unbelievable. 3 set of questions. We have exhausted settlement geography. Don't tell me that you are going to struggle, guys, with the way we have revised this. No ways. Guys, can you tap the screen, guys? Tap the screen before you go. Let's get to 100K. Now we are on 88.9. Let's get to 100K before. Let's tap the screen. So tomorrow, what we are going to do tomorrow, we are going to do map work. We are going to do map work for paper 2. Let's just say map work tomorrow. I'm going to use the same papers that we have used today for our map work tomorrow. So it's going to be map work using the same papers. So we are going to do 3 sets of papers, map work. That's what we are going to do tomorrow. 3 sets of papers. Please, before you go, can you tap the screen? Can you tap the screen? Can you tap the screen before you go, guys? Map work, guys. You know, I'm also human, guys. I think I'm tired now. I have tried, guys. I have tried, guys, to make sure that I push you a bit. Let's tap the screen before you go, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find the link on my TikTok.